Today's Friday, the 21st of May, and I thought I'd bring you an update. A lot has been going on in the past week, so lots of news to try and put together. And so here's a bit of a summary. And I'm going to start with Monday, when on 17th of May, the British government said that people could travel for holiday purposes. You could go to the Falkland Islands for your holidays if you wanted to. Closer to home, you could go to Portugal. Whilst in Portugal, you could nip over the border and go into Spain. No, you're not supposed to do that. So Spain was and still is on the amber list, and so yes, you can leave. You can leave the UK, but on Monday you couldn't actually come to Spain because Spain were not allowing you to come, and at the moment they're still not allowing you to come. And I read a really sad story this morning of a family who'd been over a few weeks ago to set up a business, and they'd decided to come over here to finalise some things, and they'd actually been allowed to leave the UK, but when they got to Palma, they were told they couldn't enter, they'd got to go back. Because that's the rule, you can't come unless you are a resident here or there is a very good reason, and they didn't have a good reason. So they had to go back, and when they got back to the UK, they had to quarantine, and they got to pay for two more tests, and it turned out to be a very expensive 24-hour return journey with no good outcome. If they'd have waited a few days, things are changing. So here on Thursday they started to announce the de-escalation, the relieving a little bit of the restrictions, and so from Sunday our curfew is going to be put back to midnight. Interiors of bars and restaurants are going to be open at least during the daytime until 6 p.m, so we'll be able to go out for lunch and go to a restaurant inside, and so it's starting to feel a little bit more free. But the really exciting news came from the minister in Spain, who said that from Monday Spain would welcome travellers from the UK. There are several other countries as well, but here we're talking about the UK, without any restriction at all. As long as you come here from the UK, you don't need to have any proof of vaccination, you don't need to have any PCR tests, you can just come and you can have a holiday here in Mallorca. The UK's amber list means that when you go back, you still have to do your quarantine, you have to have your PCR test before you leave, and when you've got to have 2 more tests on the 2nd and 8th day, I think it is. So going back is not so easy, but coming here, you can come and you're very welcome from Monday. So that's looking really good for the holidays, and a lot of hotels have been opening up over the last few days, and more will be opening this week, and I'm sure with that news we're going to see even more opening over the next few days. So the restrictions here are going to be coinciding with that. You'll be able to have meals out on the terrace right up until 11 p.m. There is a limit to how many people can stay at a table. It's only 4 at the moment, so 4 on a table, that's inside and outside. Doesn't really matter how many households, but 4 people on the table. Also was mentioned about travelling to Mallorca from the mainland. So if you were a mainland visitor, you can come to Mallorca, and so long as you've had 1 jab, so long as you've had one of the recognised vaccines, you can come to Mallorca so long as you had it at least 15 days before you travel. Otherwise you need a PCR test and present that when you arrive. There are some other restrictions that have been eased, so if you want to go for a walk with a group of friends, that's gone up to 30 people, so the big groups of walkers can be starting again. Things like funerals, the capacities have been increased as well. In hotels you're allowed to share a room. And markets, we've visited one or two markets over the last few weeks, and they seem to be rather spread out, and I wasn't sure what the rule was there, but they were clearly not allowed to have 100% of the stalls that they would normally have. That's going to change again from Monday, 100% of stalls, so markets should be starting to get back to normal. If you're someone who likes to go on a cruise, and Mallorca has been one of the cruise destinations for the past few years, it's become really big, then Costa Cruises, they're starting up, and we'll be visiting Palma on July the 10th. TUI Cruises want to come on sometime in June, but that yet has to be confirmed. Something interesting that doesn't affect the people coming from outside, but for people who live in Mallorca and who are residents here, the local government is giving you a voucher, if you choose, for inter-island travel. So if you live in Mallorca, you can go to Ibiza and you'll get a €100 voucher to spend or to offset the cost of your trip. There are obviously some restrictions. It has to be in a registered hotel or holiday accommodation, and you have to stay for 2 nights. But it's a way of making the tourist industry come to life a little bit more. One thing that did interest me was that 2 of our celebrities have arrived on the island, Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Michael Douglas has had a place on the island for many, many years. He bought a house here with his wife Deandra, and they split up, and he's now married to Catherine Zeta-Jones. But this house was split between the 2 of them, and he now has bought the whole house, so he now has the full possession of the property. But he's been allowed to come here when other people are not allowed to come here, and I'm not sure how that works. How did Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones manage to come to Mallorca when we have a restriction? People cannot come here from third countries. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but they're here and they're enjoying the holiday. They've been seen in Valdemosa and walking in the hills. I hope they have a nice holiday. I think they're a great advert for the island, and they do a lot of good when they're here. I'm just curious as how they managed to get here. The really big news of the week. The really big news of the week happened on Tuesday. On Tuesday, Almeria lost. Why am I talking about Almeria? Well, Almeria were the only team at the time that could have overtaken Real Mallorca into that second place promotion spot to La Liga. Because they lost, there's no way they can catch Real Mallorca, and on Wednesday Real Mallorca went to Tenerife and won 1-0 anyway. So we're in the promotion spot, we're in the second promotion spot. There's still 2 games left to play. There's one that was supposed to be played on Monday night. It's now been brought forward to Sunday at 6:15 local time, and they're playing Zaragoza, and we'll be going. We have our tickets, so I'll try and give you a bit of a match report. I'm sure it'll be a bit of a party atmosphere. Everyone's going to enjoy that. Win or lose, it doesn't really matter now. They are heading towards La Liga, and all the Real Mallorca fans are really happy about that. So next season we'll be playing the big boys. And just to finish off the weather, we've had some beautiful weather this week. It's been a bit windy, but pretty good. So last Sunday it was 30 degrees plus, and we were out and about in Magaluf, and it felt as though summer had arrived. Monday it cooled down quite a bit, and the temperatures have been a little bit more pleasant, so sort of mid 20s. Cooler in the evening, which is much better, it makes it easier to sleep. But come Sunday night, we'll probably be at the football match. There's a possibility of a storm, and that's leading on into Monday. So Monday there could be a storm as well. So we might be having some rough weather. So I hope you've been watching our videos, and I recently did one about the history of us. It's been so well received. I've had such wonderful messages from people telling me how much they've enjoyed watching the video. If you've not seen it, have a look in the YouTube channel. It's just a story of how we arrived in Mallorca. It's a long time ago now, nearly 36 years ago. But how we decided to come and what it was like just in the first few weeks and months of getting here. I'll be doing an update in the next week or so you'll find out what happened after we arrived and the settling in period, which may have taken a few weeks, months, maybe even a couple of years, I suppose. But how we settled in here and how we got started. Well, thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell and you get a notification. And hit the like button, share it with your friends, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.